fantastic mood. Honestly, I just feel like this is going to go to a Game 5. You know why? Because it's me and you back at it again, Revan.
Yep, of course. If you didn't know already, Ben is a big soccer ball fan, so if you like watching soccer ball,
okay.
Apparently there's some big matches coming up. But yeah, Red Reserve going up against Team Kaliber. Important to note, both teams have already played matches earlier today. TK with the hot 3-0 over Team Envious, and then Red Reserve with the 3-1 over Epsilon. So TK certainly with the tougher opponent, but Red Reserve had played this map against Epsilon, and well, they started out 102-0 against them.
Now, I may have been screaming a little bit earlier on during the Epsilon game, but correct me if I'm wrong, it was the CTF again which plagued Red Reserve with problems, and that's been something that all throughout last week has been a little bit of an issue, and I know analysts like Chance out there said, well, you know, you just got to keep playing it. You may as well try and get as many reps as possible. Well, there comes a point where you are running out of time, essentially. You know, this is their last week of games. We'll see them in action 2 more times, and then ultimately it's playoff time, and then, of course, we get straight to champs. So they are running out of time in terms of improving their CTF, but for me, of course, still the heavy favorite in this division.
Yep, exactly that. Red Reserve currently sitting on top. Also, keep in the back of your minds that they've already solidified their spot in the top 4 when it comes down to playoffs. TK with a chance to do exactly that. With the win over Red Reserve, would certainly put them in a more comfortable position, but right now it's essentially tied game. TK currently with control of the Operations Bunker hardpoint. Well, as soon as I say that, grenades come in. Radiant is able to find 2, as Red Reserve should be able to break on in from the back.
And obviously, me and you, whenever we watch TK play, we've given accuracy in the past a lot of love, specifically when he's gone toe-to-toe with the likes of Slasher, for example. This, a slow start from him, 0-3, especially when compared to Rated 6-4. Rated currently leading the charge for Red Reserve. Was to say that, though, you see TK just go straight in towards the hill. Kenny working towards some streaks.
Not often do you see Kenny with the bar in his hands, but it just goes to show what he could do with that weapon. And speaking a bit more about accuracy, he was frying earlier today up against Envy. He just couldn't miss a shot. Had a nasty 1v3 in the search and destroy. Went off in the respawns. Now it's all about Kenny. 10-4 start for him on a force 3. Already a glide bomb earned as he's looking ahead towards more.
Could potentially get that tier 2 and tier 3 streak, which kind of makes up for accuracy's slow start. But speaking of TK and grabbing a nice point lead, they have themselves a cushion now as we rotate over towards Storage Bunker. Red Reserve, they're ready and set up. Of course, I'd be surprised to see the streak used now. It's more so, will Kenny get further streaks? Now, just an assist will do for the artillery barrage. There's a couple of players inside the hill for Red Reserve. They thought Kenny may have been spotted there, but he hasn't just yet. Of course, Red still getting the time. Kenny just slowing it down massively. There's the tier 2 and tier 3. Ultimately, though, no break to the hill.
Yeah, good job by Kenny in that situation. If you looked at the mini-map while he's posted up over towards the front storage bunker, he had no teammate support, so he was just looking to play his life. At least you get the streaks to play with. Meanwhile, it's Red Reserve still with control of the hard point, and they're starting to build a little bit of a lead as they go up by around 50 points with 20 seconds here remaining. It's Rated with the hot hand. He's been the stellar performer for this Red Reserve lineup. 9-5, make it 10-5 for him, as he has a chance to maybe earn some streaks of his own.
Yeah, potentially, and that would obviously be a great counter over towards Kenny's streaks. But again, I have to highlight it. Accuracy, an unbelievably slow start, 1-7. Obviously, you don't expect him to stay that slow, but you look at the point lead that's now developed for Red Reserve. Admittedly, just over 1 hard point, but still, it's a point lead nevertheless. 90-54, you look for TK to come back into this on offense.
Yeah, and off respawn accuracy now on a force 3, so it just takes one good sequence of events, and he's right back in it. Plus, with the capture points on the hard point, he's got 500 and 700 to earn himself the glide bomb. Runs away at the exact wrong moment, but somehow finds a way to stay alive. Important to note that these walls here are paper thin. You could shoot right through them, but for the time being, accuracy staying alive no longer. As he falls, it's Kenny here to follow up. Zero breaks on into the hard point as Red take control once again.
Of course, worth mentioning some English lads on the Red Reserve squad. I'm sure they're as happy as I am with today's results, so I expect to see them really step things up as well. Just playing in a happy mood. It always helps, as a former player, when you're in a good mood, you tend to play a little bit better.
Yeah, good vibes, super important.
Exactly. Actually, all of a sudden, it is starting to step things up. Kenny pulls out the pistol, looking to find the pick on Joe. Not going to happen this time. 12 seconds left on office, and it is still a Red Reserve lead. And considering the game looked very, very close, it really just did come down to one full hull from Red Reserve. And since that moment, off his hill, they just kind of split the time 50-50, still with a comfortable lead.
We'll see if the streaks from Kenny can change down the upcoming hard point as we move over to Smokestack. Interesting to see Kenny sticking with the bar, even though he has been performing very well with it. Typically, he's the SMG aggro player for this TK lineup, so we'll see if at any point in time he decides to swap over. In the meantime, it's Pharaoh lurking around the ventilation room, just looking to cut down Red Reserve players in transition to the hard point, because right now it's TK locking it down. They're looking to tie things up here, if not take the lead.
And this is a lot of comfortable time because you haven't even forced Kenny's hand in terms of using a streak. And TK slowly but surely starting to come back into this one. Of course, now you're seeing the smokes being used by Red Reserve as they try and break into smokestacks. But actually, whilst all this is going on, it's just sat milking the hill. Finally, it's going to be contested, but there's only 25 seconds left. Rated finds a double. Maybe the streak comes in to support. Actually, doesn't look like that's going to be the play call just yet. Red Reserve do break in. 17 seconds left. And honestly, that scrap time may be good just to go straight to them. It's basically a one-on-one, though. If Enable wins it, This could be big time for TK. Goes straight for the challenge, gets it. No trade comes through, so the final few seconds should go to TK. And that's in fact no, and Abel leaves it, wants to rotate instead.
Yeah, he's going to give him up, maybe thinking that somebody's in there to maybe juggle the hard point, try to get some more points. But regardless, TK, they're going to easily win the rotation as we enter a new rotation of hard points here. Back over to the ventilation room. Kenny didn't use any streaks on that previous smokestacks hard point, so he still has everything to use. And look, even though smokestacks is the most wide open hard point we have on this map, you can still use something like an artillery barrage to block off certain choke points on the map, block off certain lanes, and force Red Reserve to reapproach whatever break they want to set up for.
Definitely seen some well-used streaks on this map outside of smokestacks, to your point. But now, of course, second rotation of hills, back over to vents. Red Reserve still in the hill. It's going to fall to Rated to try and just hold it for a few moments longer before the reinforcements come. It's going to be Farrell from the front door. Does actually find the pick there. Hardpoint contested for a mere few moments. Zero there to assist. He's going to have two that he needs to clean up. Only able to find one. And ultimately, Farrow with the trade. Now, again, the race for rotation is actually versus Rated, and Rated's going to win this fight again.
Yeah, for example, if TK are able to break in right here, as they call in the glide bomb, they can easily use the artillery barrage to cut off, you know, one alleyway or one entrance into the hard point and just force Red Reserve to, like, fight and wrap all the way around the ventilation to try to break in.
And kind of feel that maybe that glide bomb was a little late. There was, what, 3 seconds left in the first hill before the new hill kind of popped. You would have liked to see it maybe just 5 seconds earlier. But no, number 6 on the minimap. It's accuracy behind enemy lines. However, Zero and Joe, as they all come off spawn, they're instantly going to recognize that Red Reserve should get some information, and that's exactly why you see Scraps pre-firing over towards the back, trying to find accuracy. He's done a good job because a couple of players have actually spawned on top of him here. TK in a great position to potentially break if they can win the gunfights. Ultimately, it only comes down to Farrow winning one. The rest is traded out.
It's been perfectly done by Red Reserve so far, just holding on inside the hardpoint. The glide bomb does open up the room for accuracy to make that flank happen and contest the spawns in the top right, but that pinch comes in a little bit too slow. Red Reserve recognized exactly what's going on. As you pointed out, 2 members from Red Reserve spawn out in the bottom right, over near smokestacks. That indicates that somebody's pinching on the spawn's top right. Red Reserve, it was a near perfect hardpoint hold for them. They get the majority of the time, back up by 60 points, as now we're about to move back across the map here at the storage bunker.
And this is going to be a pretty important hill here, because if memory serves, it was Red Reserve that got the full time on this hardpoint. So you'd love to see Red Reserve to really try and break in as quickly as possible. Enable with a big opening double. Rated and Joe both full. Kenny's going to try and collapse inside the hill. There's one, there's two. TK, almost a perfect break straight off the bat.
And remember what I was talking about. Kenny started out with the bar. TK, we're using a double AR setup here on Valkyrie hardpoint, which is typically not what you see. Now Kenny swaps over to that SMG. It's going to add a bit more pace, a bit more firepower to this TK line, because now he can comfortably play to the pace of Enable and Pharaoh and add aggression inside the hardpoint.
Right to just fly straight in, doesn't give a damn about TK.
Okay.
That's all 4 for the man, and that streaks as well. His teammates come and they just add a little bit further support, but bear in mind damage that's been done so far. 216 and 151 as Kenny actually gets an impressive double, but now the fight for rotation comes through. You just feel like Red Reserve have done enough to put this game to bed.
Yeah, we'll see. I feel like this is going to be the hard point where Kenny might want to use his artillery barrage, since there are only 2 entranceways into the office. Now would be a good time maybe on the loading side of storage.
I mean, the problem is you're running out of time,
yeah.
right? Red Reserve
well
now, 30 seconds, you're almost forced to use it because you kind of haven't invested it so far. I mean, Raiders just going to drop it instantly here just to give his teammates a little bit of assistance. Plus, you kind of get the UAV capability from that as well. You're going to call out where the TK players are coming from. So Red should expect it. Zero challenges 1. Red Reserve now just need another 10 more points. Map 1 is theirs.
Yeah, I mean, look at Rated. 27, 28, and 15. 3 kills free. 2 minutes, 50 seconds inside the hardpoint. The man is doing it all. It's going to be Red Reserve with a comfortable MAC 1 victory here against Team Kaliber.
Those stats from Rated are truly impressive. And important to note, Kenny gets the Tier 2, Tier 3. Never had chance to use it. I think you have to look at maybe the first smokestacks as potential, but TK had the first 30 seconds. You don't really want to invest it towards the last few 30 seconds. But other than that, of course, not able to use those streaks. Rated gets his glide bomb, uses it straight away, and Red Reserve taking up 1.
And still, every time we talk about Valkyrie hardpoint, we always talk about, you know, how impactful streaks can be. You can use them in transition into other hardpoints. You can use the artillery barrage to block off certain alleyways. You could use the fighter pilot to pick up kills and transition to a hardpoint if you're late on rotation. Like, you still have to find ways to use them, even though they might not be optimal to do so.
Right.
You still have those tools in the back pocket, and you hate to end games with those streaks still available to use.
It's the worst feeling in the world, that's for sure. Again, a slow start from accuracy didn't really help things out, but he did step things up a little bit. But it was such a good start from Kenny. I mean, he earned those streaks so early on into the game. You would have loved to have seen him use them at some point. But again, we could hop on about that forever. There's no point. Red Reserve, they do take map number 1. Now, when we take a look at the rest of the series, let's talk big picture for a little bit. Map 3, the CTF, where Red Reserve's woes have been pretty dire, if I'm honest. It's going to be Flak. So for me, I'm a little worried for Red. I mean, there comes a point where you're going to play the map so many times, you're bound to win it eventually. It'd be very unfortunate for TK if this, of course, was that series. But if TK just play a solid CTF game, for me, I think they should take that comfortably.
Yeah, I'm trying to think, like, just think it back to some Red games. Like, what exactly goes wrong for them in CTF? Is it, I mean...
After last week, it just felt like they were unlucky. Okay. I know that's such a bogus excuse to use almost, but like it's genuinely how it felt. Losing caps in overtime, losing caps in the last few seconds, streaks not really working out how they wanted to. Things definitely could have gone better for Red Reserve. But I know before the game started, Jess actually caught up with some of our players. Let's find out if any CTF talk was had.
Thanks, Ben. Yeah, so I talked with Zero, and he seems very confident, you know, and who wouldn't be, obviously, being on Red Reserve. But when I asked him, you know, how are you expecting this match to go? How are you feeling in general? The first thing he said to me was, well, TK need this win, but we're not going to give it to them. So, you know, of course they're feeling very confident. So I'm pretty ready to see how the rest of the series shakes out. Ben, back over to you.
Thank you very much, Jess. No surprise there from Zero, not giving anything to Team Kaliber for free. If they want the win, they're going to have to work for it. And of course, TK, John, they do need this win. It's very important to kind of mention, you know, if you're Red Reserve, you've guaranteed yourself playoffs. You know, kind of pressure's a little bit off now. It's just what seed are you going to get? Everyone expects them to take that #1 seed. But for TK, pressure's still on. I mean, this is a team, again, we can talk about, you know, back-to-back champions at the start of the year. They've had their ups, they've had their downs. But this is a fantastic squad that we expect to see at playoffs.
And look, Forests are great maps for TK since the beginning of the year. So they should be feeling comfortable on maps 2 and 4. But look, we're very familiar with the guys over on Red Reserve. Would you expect anything different from these guys? They're not just happy with being on top of their division. They want to show that they're the best without a doubt here. But here you go, looking ahead. Ardennes Forest, search and destroy will be game 2. TK looking to tie things up.
I think you bring up a good point. You know, they want that #1 seed. They know that the Rise Nation guys are probably sat at home watching Red Reserve, you know, just kind of mentally taking notes, if not literally taking notes on them. If that is going to be another grand final that we see in the next couple of events, the final 2 events, that is. They're looking to put on a show and, of course, convincingly win. It's kind of what we expect from Rise in their division. Comfortable wins. Red Reserve need to do the same, just for their egos, if nothing else. But Ardennes Forest search and destroy now underway. TK on the attack first round. Kenny's going to be bomb carrier. Pharaoh with the sniper rifle. Going to peek mid. Not really going to find much yet.
Yeah, I wonder if Red Reserve were watching TK play against Envy. They did match up in this search and destroy accuracy. Had a nasty 1v3 in that one against his former teammate Chino. Maybe they were writing down some strats or maybe mentally preparing for this matchup and trying to counter-strat them.
Well, Scraps is going to be key because it looks as if Bomb is making its way over towards B. Bear in mind, though, mid-map control could be going in TK's favor. Pharaoh's going to rotate the sniper rifle, see if he can find the pick on Scraps up top, but I don't think Scraps is going to give that away for free. As I say that, Pharaoh tries the quickscope, doesn't connect. Kenny actually finds the pick, so that opens up this entire site. Will they be able to take control? That's unfortunate timing for Zero. He falls. Rated able to trade out Kenny. Rated finds a double miraculously. Pharaoh 1v2 sniper rifle. Rated simply not missing. Pharaoh will grab bump. 30 seconds left.
Carrying it forward from the hard point. Rated bringing its team back in this round and search and destroy. Pharaoh with the sniper spots out both of them. 25 seconds remaining. Can he make it happen? No, he cannot. Grenade lands right at his feet. It's a round 1 victory for Red Reserve, but regardless, I liked how TK were playing that. You saw Pharaoh trying to be active with the sniper rifle, looking to find the first blood. Kenny was able to open things up over towards the top platform, but that second line of defense, Rated, they just weren't able to get past him.
Yeah, as soon as he picks up that double, he slows down that attack from TK almost to a halt, to a complete stop. Pharaoh looking to make a miraculous 1v2 with the sniper rifle. It's realistically not going to happen. But now, Red Reserve, they go back onto the attacking side, rated at 2-0, Joe at 2-0. A good start for that duo. It looks as if it's going to be an A push straight off the bat. Love it.
Not only is it an A push, it's an A push with no presence over towards mid. It's an all-out push through the field. Actually, he gets tagged through the smokes, but he's forced to back on up. Takes some damage with the grenade and gets caught reloading. It's first blood going to Red Reserve in Scratch. While Zero, he's in charge of watching the flank. You see 2 players from TK threatening that over towards the fire alley. As I say, that Enable's going to rotate back while you have Pharaoh holding back Ice. It's a clean 4-man plant here for Red Reserve. They're going to now set up and look to maintain control.
And Zero should know at this point, no one's going to go for that wide flank. His teammates should call out the 2 players have crossed. If they get any information on where Ferrer is, now they do. You'll see Zero spring back into life. It's probably going to get unfortunate timing, though. Enable should be able to find the pit. Oh, no. Wow, that should have been a kill there for Enable. Zero turns, and he may have got a little bit of help from a teammate there. I'm not too sure. We'll see it now. Zero does it all by himself. Uses the environment to his advantage, and an easy pick there for him.
Yep, good use of the tree stump there.
There's more trees now, in case you didn't know.
Yeah.
Apparently, that's what the kids are saying.
I saw Sledgehammer tweet out that their devs were frantically looking to see what happened.
They planted,
no trees were added.
No, they planted them at the beginning of the year, and they've just grown now. That's how it works, apparently.
Not the best environment to grow trees in. I wouldn't recommend it. But they're pretty resilient. You know, they could grow, especially if you genetically modify them. That's what I'm good at.
Take a couple of bullets, that's for sure. Now, round 3. Enable, first blood onto Zero. Scraps has pulled out a sniper of his own. Potentially to try and counter Ferro, but Ferro goes first blood down. Joe with some very crispy shots there onto Enable. Bear in mind, he's working towards some streaks. It'd be almost good for him here if Kenny did plant the bomb. You try and give him the defuse.
And there you go.
Rated, looking for some streaks as well. It seems like that's how Red Reserve is more than happy to play a 3v2 retake.
Yep, bomb will get planted. And now, Rated yet to die. Joe yet to die. They're looking to make the retake happen over towards the B site. TK, they've had a tough time trying to get something going. There's Scraps with the sniper once again. And now once they spot accuracy, the sniper's the perfect weapon to pick him off this position. He gets stunned up, tagged up by grenades. Joe does wind up falling, so no defuse available for him, but you still have Scraps on that force free. Oh no, it's down to a 1v1. It's going to happen again, actually with a chance for yet another 1v3.
And it feels like Scraps was on a completely different pace there to his 2 teammates. Both, of course, close to streak. Scraps is going to have to just go for the challenge. Accuracy, ring around the Rosie with the pillar. He's buying enough time, is he? Surely 11 seconds. Scraps barely gets the defuse. And luckily for him, he's close to streaks as well. But there, from Joan's rated perspective, of course, both players hadn't died at that point. Both players working towards streak themselves. They would have loved that to be maybe a little cleaner. Scraps kind of looks over and says, nah, don't worry, guys. I had it completely covered.
Yeah, every time Accuracy's left alive in that position, you feel like it's going to happen. Brings it down to a 1v1 yet again, as we're going to watch it. Now, the thing, obviously, he's trying to burn time off the clock. 15 seconds remaining here. I thought Scraps, this was a great play for him to try to push, and then just guessing at that point. Is he going to go left? Is he going to go right?
I mean, if Accuracy gets lucky there, buys an extra couple of seconds, the fuse definitely
more seconds, all he needed.
And Scraps still looking for 50 points here for that glide bomb. He's going to have to probably slow down, see if anyone wants to push Bell side. Problem, however, 2 players for Red have already fallen. TK, of course, looking for the first round here in the search and destroy.
Does Pharaoh also have a sniper? Don't switch from just yet. Okay, no, he's got a bar. Okay, so Scraps, because you know every time that happens, like, swap over to Pharaoh and then he hits the shot. But Scraps is going to go back at it. We'll spot Pharaoh. There you go. Hits the shot, and the Pharaoh earns the glide bomb. Let's see if he can stay alive and earn more, because that's going to bring Red back in.
I would love to see him use it straight away, and he is going to use it. You're expecting either player to have Mountain. You're going to get a ton of information, potentially a free kill. Stays alive himself as well. Of course, it would have been better if Scraps was able to plant the bomb, but at this point, you just have to play the 2v1. You're not going to go for a team kill and play anything crazy like that. You had the information where Enable was. Scraps gets a little unfortunate timing there. They have no idea where he's coming from. Now they do. Enable cleaned up. Wonderful search and destroy from Red Reserve. They are playing like the #1 team in this division.
I love how smart Rated is. He spots Enable here, takes some shots, and he just backs up. He doesn't even want to challenge this gunfight. He knows he has Scraps next to him, trying to earn more streaks. And now TK, for future rounds, you have to swap over to Mountain. You're probably thinking the fire pilot's in play, also worrying about the artillery barrage. Everything's going well right now for Red Reserve.
There definitely is. Again, looking like the best team in the division, playing like the best team in the division. 4-0 for search and destroy. Because the hard point was close at times, but once Red Reserve pulled away, there really wasn't much doubt that they were going to close it out. Again, 2 big streaks now for Red Reserve to use. It's going to be an A push, though, for TK. How long can Joe stay alive? There's 1. Traded out instantly. Rated falls mid-map. However, there's still 0 in the site. There's 2 that fall. And all of a sudden, the tables have turned. Accuracy, a 1v2. If there was a man you want in the position, though, for TK, Revan, it's him.
And because TK get those initial kills over towards the A-bomb site, they're now checking their corners inside cabin. They're not expecting somebody else to be lurking around the area. Now Accuracy, because he's got that loud class, he's forced to pre-aim around these corners. Scraps is all over at those spots and picks up the kill.
Wow.
5 rounds played means 5 rounds won here for Red Reserve.
Scraps is, he's beaming. He's feeling very confident. Look at these shots. As soon as Accuracy peaks, didn't even have time to jiggle back. That's how accurate Scraps was. Simply didn't miss. 5-0 now as TK They're being taught a lesson about Ardennes Forest, which is ironic because you're at the
Typically, it's
beginning of the
their
year.
forest.
It was their forest, that is for sure. Red Reserve, though, looking to claim the land as their own. 5-0. Red back on the attack. Are we going to see another A push, or maybe we get something different? Again, you do have those streaks to play around. It opens up that B site on the attack.
Yeah, I think if you're Red Reserve, just slow down here. See if anybody from TK gets overly aggressive. Play around one of these streaks. See if you can find an opening pick. I mean, Kenny's not using Mountain, so there's certainly the potential here to find some easy kills. Yeah, there you go. That's exactly what Red's going to do.
Interesting note, Pharaoh 0-6. May not get a James Bond simply because there might not be enough rounds. As First Blood comes in for Red Reserve. Still the artillery.
I'll tell you what, he's got a license not to kill right now.
Sure does. Enable. Oh, that's just unfortunate, really, isn't it? Scrap's probably going to find a kill because he's playing unbelievably well. Gets it. It's a 4v2 with a streak. Kenny makes it a 3v2 with that kill that comes through. Of course, Kenny and Accuracy, the two players from TK still alive. Accuracy just on 0, so it's now a 2v2 with a fighter pilot invested. Things not actually going too well here for Red Reserve. If you wanted to, maybe you artillery cap and wall and you just try and grab that bomb and run.
That'd be a ballsy play to make. I think they're just going to try to double challenge Accuracy here, maybe. They know they have to somehow take him out of that cabin wall. They're going to reposition here to try to get the bomb under their control. Kenny does not get caught out mid-map. He wins the engagement, gets raided, and there you go. TK, despite the fighter pilot being used, not getting First Blood as well. They put up their first round win.
Was it me? No, it was myself and Chance last week, actually, that casted the 5-0 comeback to 5-5. Almost
taking my spot.
Almost a full sale, of course. I know you've casted both of them.
Ooh.
Could have been
My claim to fame.
Could have been another one, but hey, can TK try and do it here? From 5-0 down, they make it 5-1. Of course, there is still an artillery barrage we have to mention in play for Red Reserve. Besides that, though,
Does that mean you stack the A bomb site here on defense? You could use the artillery on the retake, or do you save it for offense?
and you feel like attack is easier, right? Because if you get a bomb down to A, you call it in. That's free time, essentially. But instead, Red Reserve, they're just going to go straight for the challenges. Kenny with a double. Things not looking good. Scraps is left for the sniper rifle and the pistol. Joe now 1v3. Can you produce the goods? No, you can't. TK getting a little bit of momentum.
Kenny's going Super Saiyan right now, man. Just barrels right through the middle of the map, opens things up with 2 kills, gets a third in the round, I believe. And here's Pharaoh picking up his first kill of the game here onto Joe. There's a straightforward round for TK overall, but as Kenny starts to heat up, you start to get a little bit worried. We've seen the type of damage that man can do when he's on top of his game. He could just completely take over at any moment in time.
Now, of course, Pharaoh gets his first kill as well. See if that can spiral into anything at all, or potentially in the next round could close out map 2 and give Red Reserve.
Kenny gets streaked out here. He only needs 2 more kills for at least the glide bomb.
It's possible. It's possible, but I think if you're TK, you expect the bead push because of the artillery like we spoke about. Red Reserve kind of bluff it out, if you will. They push over towards the A site. Joe is going to be tagged up, but actually loses a little bit of control in terms of his positioning. Teammates watching the cross. Zero falls on flank, though, so this setup may have just fallen completely out.
But keep in mind, Kenny and Enable both have subs here on the flank.
Will they be able to find the pick? There is still an artillery barrage as well, which Scraps could call in it. Be very risky, though. You wouldn't really expect to see it, but hey, man, you simply don't know. 4v3, Enable shuts down Scraps. Kenny gets the information. Kenny looking for both kills, finds one. Surely he's going to get the defuse as well. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
We got ourselves a game, Benson. Kenny's going to get at least a glide bomb from that defuse, and it's something to work with. Also, keep in the back of your mind, Red Reserve know that he has streaks.
Yes.
Since they're all down, they're going to be spectating, so they know, okay, we got to kill Kenny, but not only that, maybe you think about throwing on Mountain, and that's where things really start to get dangerous, because when you throw in that Mountain division, you don't have armor, which means that you're not going to be immune to both stuns and both lethal grenades, so you really got to pick your poison. Which one do you want to counter? As you see, for the most part in Red Reserve, they all have comfort, so any concussions thrown their way are going to have a big impact.
Of course. Over on the TK side, knowing it's just an artillery barrage, you don't actually need Mountain.
Exactly.
It's essentially just a blind streak that's going to cover a big kind of area on the map. It looks like Glide's going to be called in straight off the bat. What do you spot?
Scraps on top.
Scraps up top. What? I feel like that. I kind of feel like you should be checking that no matter what, right? That's a spot that you almost expect. You should just land it there, but it doesn't matter. Scraps does find first blood, but Pharaoh at least there to trade it out. Makes it a 3v3, but for TK, their job just got made a little more difficult.
Okay, still looking to take down Kenny if you're a Red Reserve. Even if you lose the round, at least limit the amount of streaks that he could get. Stop it at just that glide bomb. But also you have Pharaoh starting to heat up as he started 0-6. He's on a 3 spree. Kenny, if he plants this bomb, he'll learn everything.
And I love those smokes because it basically forces TK to kind of push through a little bit if they want to cover the bomb that gets planted. Kenny's going to grab it. Artillery barrage has been earned. And a fighter pilot.
Back up, stay alive, use the artillery barrage if you absolutely need to win the round.
Uh-oh, Pharaoh gets caught mid-map. Kenny, is he going to try and use the streak? He has accuracy there as well. This is such a high-risk play. Of course, artillery is going to be called in. Rated is on the bomb. Is Rated going to get the defuse? It hits him twice.
No way.
No way! It hits him 4 times. And if you're TK, you are furious that Rated had the cojones to stick that defuse. Red Reserve simply laughing at Team Kaliber.
Oh, that's just unfortunate there if you're a TK fan, but they played it right. You call in the artillery barrage on the bomb, try to waste off time and force them to commit to the engagements. Unfortunately, Rated, he must have armor on that. I mean, just living through the artillery barrage. 2 missiles going his way. That's
I think it was more
ballsy play to make. That's more than 2? At least 2.
I saw a lot of shaking on that screen. But either way, it is Red Reserve now comfortably 2-0 up in the series. Up next, though, it's their kryptonite. It is that Flak Tower CTF. Will they close it out 3-0, or will TK start a comeback? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It's the final game of the evening here on the final week for Division A games. TK versus Red Reserve. Red Reserve currently 2-0 up. Revan, it's getting cold inside the venue. I was getting a little nipply, so I changed to a sweater. You know, it's pretty chilly. There's a thunderstorm going on outside, and some thunderous gameplay from Red Reserve. See, no, 2-0 Red Reserve anyway.
Nice try.
I tried. I'm not
again next time. Maybe better.
You're the punny one of the two. That's better.
Maybe. But look, Red Reserve obviously in a commanding position in this series, but the CTF coming up next is where TK can start to turn things around. We've seen throughout these past couple weeks that this is where Red Reserve look a little bit human in. And, you know, TK, I would say since, you know, the addition of these two new guys, Pharaoh and Enable, CTF has probably been their most improved game mode. You know,
I'd probably agree. I think they do look very solid.
33% chance of being right, yeah?
True. But you look at Enable's communication, the amount of times you go to a listen in terms of just how correct he is with calls of spawns, etc. It's a pleasure to listen to as the flag was early pulled, but instantly put back straight in its place. Of course, it was TK off the bat, the aggressive ones. Red Reserve, once again, just waiting to try and slay out before they get map control.
Okay, so this is how CTF typically plays out, right? Both teams filling each other out, seeing what lanes they like to play in, and just try to establish control. On Flak Tower, it's really hard to get that like second wave of kills. So you have mid-map control, you're looking to get the enemy team out of their base, you know, fresh off respawn. It's tough to do. I feel like the best way to do it is just leave one of the lanes open, 2-2 flood, maybe the other two in a perfect scenario, and just try to get some offense going off the back of that.
As it stands, TK trying to get the map control to try and push for the flag. Nothing happening just yet. Scraps desperately scrambles away. He's going to reach out accuracy, and honestly, accuracy should fall. Pharaoh looking to trade, but he falls as well. TK trying to, Red Reserve rather, trying to push out, and with that kill, they will get a little bit of control.
Yep, their base is now comfortably clear. Scraps should find the last one here, Enable. So now, Red Reserve know for sure that the remaining TK players are coming off respawn. Scraps as well as Rage just need to stop. Slow down, play your life. You know that Joe and Zero fresh coming off respawn. You're just going to wait for them to push up before you can get a team push going. Pharaoh's going to play around the outskirts of the map, so Scraps is now forced to reposition. Even though he finds the kill, his teammates are falling around the map. That's 3 down right now for TK. A 1v1 Enable versus Scraps, but Scraps doesn't want to push us. He has to stay alive, play his life, act as a checkpoint for his teammates as they come up off respawn. He can't fight 1v4 in TK's base.
You have to remember as well, he was a kill away from a streak. Could have been game-changing for Red Reserve, so ultimately a very big win from Enable to stop that from happening. And TK, slay out of their base. Rated, just waiting patiently for the push to come and see if he can pick up easy kills. Able to do so. Look at the scoreboard briefly. You have Scraps at 6-2, leading the way for Red Reserve. Now halfway through the first half. Again, TK with a little bit of control, but nothing to get too excited about.
Yeah, this game is back and forth in the sense that one team pushes up, establishes mid-map control, tries to go for that second wave. They get cleared out of the opposing team's base, and then it's just back and forth like that. Just trading map control, or both these teams still get to see a major flagpole opportunity from either squad. So now it's going to be TK with the chance to push out of their base. You have actually controlling the main gun side of the map. Solid shots on the Joe, as now they can push up this lane. He's got support from Enable as well. Let's see if they can make something happen off the back of this.
Another kill comes in for Accuracy, but sadly his teammates elsewhere lose their gunfights. But Accuracy wants to basically do it himself. Now a 1v2, but you can see wise decision from him. Backs away, recognizes I'm getting close to some streaks here. It'd be great if I could just play my life. A little unfortunate as he falls. He's going to find the pick on Joe, expecting to be challenged from elsewhere. Would love some teammates to come in and support him here, just to keep him alive for as long as possible. Unfortunately, Accuracy loses the following gunfight with Scraps. As Kenny scrambles forward, Scraps drops. Again, Kenny, if you can just find one more kill, maybe it opens up for TK. But Red Reserve there to stop again.
Yeah, especially as Pharaoh was fighting around the outskirts, right? He was in position to get a bit of a pinch over towards the Red Reserve base, but TK, at least they're maintaining map control. Pharaoh with a presence here through Electric. Can't find that kill. It's 2 full. It's going to be Red Reserve now. Another chance to push on up, establish mid-map control, and once again, just like I said, you know, what was it, like a minute and a half ago? It's just back and forth. You know, Red Reserve will push up, establish map control, then get cleared. It's TK's turn, then they get cleared. It's just back and forth. Both teams yet to find that big offensive opportunity.
That's such a phenomenal read from Kenny. Wasn't getting baited by that dolphin dive. No, he waited patiently, expected there to be another player over to the right-hand side. Boots the nade, and then, of course, cleans up Zero. Final minute, we only had one flag touch. I believe that was
at like the beginning of the
very beginning of the game. Yeah, it was the first, I think it was 25 seconds. Will we see another one? Actually, looks to deny it, finds himself a double, but flag has been pulled. It's Joe with the flag. Player from TK spawns up. There's 2 chasing. Joe scrambling away. Will Enable be able to find with a stun? I don't think he's going to be able to do so. Needs a Hail Mary nade now, if anything, not going to connect. 1-0 Red Reserve.
Yep, that a big flag pull opportunity there for Joe, and he capitalized on it. Was on a force free, dies just shortly of earning those shakes. Now it's TK's turn. A counter cap opportunity for them. On the defensive end, it's Rage trying to put shots into the flag carrier. Zero falls shortly after. Where the Swans coming in for Red Reserve. On the overextension, it's going to be Joe and Scraps. They're going to try to push right on forward through ammo with 11 seconds remaining in the half. There's a chance for us to see some extra stoppage time. Let's see if Joe can clutch up.
You feel like Joe's going to go for the hero play here. Didn't want to go for the counter play. He didn't have the support. And as quick as Red Reserve get the lead, they throw it away. We're all tied 1-1.
Yeah, typical Red Reserve fashion, huh? It was a great offensive push from them. Joe almost got streaked out towards the tail end of that, but right away, TK only takes them one push to get that counter cap in. And just like you were saying, going into the half, we're all tied up, one flag apiece.
It's almost becoming predictable at this point for Red Reserve. They go 1-0 up, they level it up. Game gets towards the final 60 seconds of the second half, and the other team just takes it away from them. Something about this map just not meshing for Red Reserve. You look at how comfortable they are on other kind of maps, other game modes as well. They look so dominant within the division. It really just has been this one map and game mode combination, which has been the thorn in the side.
Yeah, they have like roughly a 50% win ratio. It's like every other time here on Flak Tower CTF.
I feel like they haven't won it in stage 2, or sorry, they haven't won it in their second lot of games.
Second lot of games. I'll double check your stat when I get back. Anyways, back into the action here. It's Pharaoh with the Red Reserve flag in his hands, about to get met with some resistance though. That's going to be rated with the cleanup kill. Return will come in as well. In the meantime, it's Zero pushing up the outskirts, trying to put pressure onto the TK base. Coming up through the lobby is going to be Joe as well. So this could be a good push coming out of Red Reserve. Let's see if they can find a flag pull off the back of this.
As you see, Joe trying to pull the flag. Is he going to get away? Looks good for now. Flag out. Let's go to a TK Astro Gaming listening.
I got backpick. Flag cross.
From mid, one guy's from mid.
Yeah, Ardennes, Scraps. He went back to mid, guys. He went back to mid. Scraps is killer.
Back right.
Scraps dead. Nice. Nice, two, back right. Nice, three. I'm looking back. I spawn gun. Where?
Stun under pick, stun, he's done. Okay, back there right.
No, I have gun. Do you have all gens?
Yeah.
I have all gun.
I have bottom mid.
Alright, we have very
Yo, can I get this cap from you?
Yeah.
I'm at 325.
Right at bottom mid.
No, behind us. Behind me.
I'm talented guy.
I got away.
Yeah, one
Bottom mid. I got bottom mid.
Yeah.
Yo, our gun, he could have got on the ground.
One guy. Alright, Jin.
Yeah, one guy could have got. One's could be
Oh,
right.
he's on me. He's on. Pulling.
Ready pull.
Where's he running?
Gun.
E-box, You got him.
I'm pulling all mid.
Coming, Jay.
I have all of mid.
Kill it back. He's weak. I hit him with a bullet.
I got one mid.
Yeah, I'm Jin.
Oh, they're bottom mid. Zero's their bottom mid.
I'm going gun.
We're missing Scraps. Zero was
Underground scraps.
Hey.
Underground and they're bottom mid. Zero.
I'm on the bottom. We got the outskirts of me.
I'm coming right. Nice. I'm coming right.
Outskirts. I'm there from mid.
I'm outskirts.
I gave up gun.
They're bottom mid. I got killed. One guy bottom mid, outskirts.
They're bottom mid. Got me.
Bottom
mid-circle.
I'm looking.
And our
Yeah,
bottom
still
mid.
mid-circle.
One shot mid-circle.
I got him. Are you mid gun, Lamar?
Yeah.
We're still looking for Zero.
Oh, he's on left.
Last guy gents.
He's pushing.
I could not tell.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he pushed. Nice. They're on spawn. Hold him in. Lamar has left.
I have back left. Oh, low gun.
I spawn outskirts.
One's low gun on me.
All right.
Energy dead.
Nice.
I got one.
I'm pushing.
I'm pushing low gun.
Outskirts dead. I'm backing off jets.
Back left.
Pulling gens.
You're all dead. One's mini gun. I got one's underground. Joe's underground.
Just play for that kid.
Alright, man.
Back. I'm right back.
I got Joe.
Guy on us. Fucking.
I got it.
Jin's on me. One shot Zero's in. He's Jin.
I got him.
Pick up mid.
I'm
I'm going mid.
They're bottom mid. Scraps. I got him.
Good job, man.
Yeah.
Pick up Jen.
Right in the second half started with the Red Reserve flag. Then TK immediately counter, and now TK find themselves with a flag lead. 2 minutes remain. The Red Reserves try and tie this up.
Yeah, they're really capitalizing on their offensive pushes every time. You know, they have a good swarm in onto the Red Reserve base, and plus they're very communicative. They know exactly what's going on everywhere on the map. They know where their flag carrier is going to go. They know what lane's open. They know who's left alive on the side of Red Reserve. And just like I was saying, I feel like this is exactly why this is their most improved game mode since they picked up Enable as well as Feral. You hear how vocal Enable is, you know, making sure that he's taking lead on, you know, what lanes are open, counting the players on Red Reserve. Things are going right now for Team Kaliber. They're up by 1 flag with 1:35 remaining.
I know, speaking of communication, Pharaoh at times has been a little quiet. Good to see him there communicating when they're running the flag. It definitely just helps a little bit. I know I actually was kind of joking about it last week, saying, you know, it's the one complaint he has with Pharaoh, and it's often just such a small one. But again, great to see him communicating. The final 60 seconds or so approaching. Red still down by 1. Is this going to be another L here on Flak Tower CTF? as it stands, it's TK with control and actually a few kills away from some streaks. Could potentially shut it down. Never mind. Rated finds the pick. Rated actually finds himself a double. And an explosive play from him as he pushes down the right-hand side lane. Pharaoh ultimately trades him out. All 4 players fall momentarily for Red Reserve. Surely TK don't throw this away.
Yeah, the slaying is just non-existent from Red Reserve. Everybody going negative. Whereas you look at the side team Kaliber, accuracy's been slaying since the start of the map. Enable's starting to find rhythm. Pharaoh and Kenny, they're negative, but not by much. TK now with map control, they're just looking to contain Red Reserve for the time being. They only need to buy themselves 35 more seconds, and they force a map 4.
Basically comes down to this final push from Red Reserve. How composed are you? 2 kills, 2 other players on, of course, the flag pack, rated with 1. Players coming off spawn. It isn't the most well-timed push here for Red Reserve in terms of spawn timings, but they're essentially just going to have to go for it. 14 seconds. Can they at least get the flag away for a period of time? Force a 60-second OT. Rated doing all he can. The flag's going to come through for Joe. 1, 2. There's 1 player left. Joe waiting for the help to regen. Going to die for the flag. 0 wins the gunfight. Red Reserve, they've got the flag away as well. Note where Red Reserve spawned. This could be a clean flag run all the way through Boardwalk. They're going to get it. Can you believe it? The scenes from Red Reserve. For once they clutch up, for once they force overtime.
At the very last second possible, Red Reserve make the push happen around the flank to open up that flag pull opportunity for Joe. Amazing play coming out the end here for Red Reserve as we're going to overtime.
Unbelievable play from all of Red Reserve, really. Rated buys himself some time, plays his life, gets an important pick. All they're doing is waiting for Joe to hit that flank. He gets the double. Of course, at that point, you're in a 2v1. A simple trade would do. 0 ultimately gets the kill himself. And now note how close to streaks Joe is. Heading into this OT, it could be huge. I believe it was last week. The first side of OT, we didn't see a single flag cap in one of Red Reserve's games. It was a very, very slow first half before they ultimately lost the second half within the first 45 seconds. Hopefully it isn't more of that if you're a European fan. Joe, of course, playing so slow here for streaks.
Don't turtle too hard if you're Red Reserve. Still got to put pressure onto the map. This has been a very elongated gunfight between Joe and Pharaoh.
Like, all right.
Just be like, all right, mate, I'll clear the way for you. There you go, cleans up Pharaoh. And it's so weird seeing Joe like actually slow down on the map. It's something that he doesn't do. And keep in mind, as Joe buys time, Zero's been heating up here. He's on a force speed working towards the streaks of his own.
Joe's just kind of playing for an easy pick on his side of the map, but to your point, you don't want to play too slow. Yes, streaks are huge, especially in OT, but ultimately, if you can get a quick flag cap, you're in such a good position. Scraps is now on a 3-streak in OT. Joe's going to turn around, worry about the spawns. Accuracy with a double, almost got a triple. Flag has been stopped. Joe, there's a play directly behind you. Is he at least going to get a touch? Oh, no, didn't even grab it. Pharaoh a double after all that. Red Reserve still.
They threw that push. They were thinking way too ahead of themselves. You saw Joe. He was about to commit towards the flag with his teammates, but he decided to back on up, leaving them to fight accuracy all alone. And actually, he trades his life for 2, and that buys enough time for TK to rotate back off respawn. They stabilize on their end of the map, and now they're starting to put pressure over towards the Red Reserve flag. And there's a player right above you, spots the Shadow Zero, picks up the kill. And now this is going to force Red Reserve to back on up. You see Rated is in a defensive position, as well as Joe, who's coming up off respawn, but still a missed opportunity big time there for Red Reserve.
And almost the exact same thing has happened on the other side of the map with Scraps. He played his life, he's found 1, and this time Scraps wants to go straight for the flag, ultimately shut down, as was, of course, the TK push. So 2 minutes gone, Revan. We've had some exciting moments, but no flag caps just yet.
Typical CTF fashion, especially here on Flak Tower, as once again, back to kind of like the opening break here, where both teams are fighting to establish map control, looking to see if they can find some opening kills to open up a lane and maybe get some offensive pressure off the back of it. We're watching through the eyes of Kenny now as he's pushing up the main gun side of the map. Player above him, that's going to be Scraps, as both teams just trading kills back and forth, looking to punch a hole through the opposing team's defense.
Accuracy gets very weak in 0. Not wasting any time. Pushes instantly. However, TK off spawn. Red, they've set themselves up nicely. Can they get the second wave of kills? That, of course, the question. Scraps looking to try and be aggressive. Well, the first kill comes for Pharaoh. Scraps expects a flank to come through, but he's basically in a TK sandwich. Makes a double. Oh my god, Scraps, can he find 3? Pharaoh does find the pick, but 0 has managed to get himself the TK flag. And also get away. Just turn. Oh my lord, 0, you maniac.
Yeah, you count that again, 100%. Turns back around, almost took down Kenny as well. An impressive spree from 0 right there. If they could stop Kenny from getting the return, that'd be great. But it looks like TK should be able to get the flag return. Is that potentially another missed opportunity there from Red?
2 minutes now to go. This once again, TK look to overextend over to the gun side of the map. Not gonna happen. Rated just trying to bait out someone from TK. May have actually had one shot, judging by the speed of death there. So just cleans up that kill. You know, you were talking about in terms of how many players were positive for Red Reserve. They started to turn things around a little bit. Rated now +1. You got a Scraps +2. Soul 0 -3. A Joe -7. Despite making a huge play, you have to bear that in mind. Obviously, stats don't really tell the full story. But on the flip side, accuracy 31 and 22, Enable 30 and 24. Some big games from those two.
And Enable cleans up Rated, so TK once again stabilizing on their defensive end. Even though you had 2 solid opportunities in this first half of overtime for Red Reserve, nothing comes off the back of it. No streaks earned either. Now with 55 seconds remaining here, we might be going into first flag cap wins.
Golden flag cap. That's what it's looking like. TK may have one final push, but ultimately you still have to approach the second side with the exact same mentality. First flag cap wins, because let's be honest, 4.5 minutes on Flak Tower CTF. It's a bit of a long time.
What are the chances to see a full replay?
0. You know why? Because TK is going to cap a flag in the first 60 seconds.
Okay, I'll hold you to it. 20 seconds though remaining.
I just remembered you owe me dinner.
Damn. I was hoping you forgot about that.
I don't think you can weasel out of that. Yeah.
I said, we'll go on a nice romantic candlelit dinner this weekend, bud. But here you go, Red Reserve in the TK base. Never mind, there's an accuracy there. He finds 2 kills, gets the flag return as well. Enable, can he get a touch on this Red Reserve flag just in time? Nope, not gonna go for it. Accuracy's gonna keep this progression towards streaks going into the half, as just like we were highlighting, golden flag cap now. First cap wins.
Of course, Red Reserve have been in this situation a fair amount of times. This time, they actually clutch up. So I'm curious to see if that will change the overall result.
And this is a nerve-wracking spot to be in. You make one mistake out on the map and it loses you the game.
And you have to feel like there's more pressure on TK in this situation. Simply because they're the team that need wins. They cannot be getting 3-0 by Red Reserve. Or, I mean, they can. They still have games to be played. But a big upset against Red Reserve would be massive for their fight to secure their spot at Stage 2 playoffs.
I mean, you said they would cap in the first 60. 30's already off the clock.
Yeah,
They're still setting up a good push. It's Red Reserve contained in the back of their base.
You ready for this?
I'm ready.
All right, watch number 2 on the mini-map. It's going to be Enable. He's going to find a pick on 0. Or not. That works too.
You sound so confident in this.
I realized number 2 was Enable, and I was like, he's not going to be a playmaker in this situation. He's watching the side. It's going to be this man. It's going to be Kenny. Springs into life. There's one. As I say that, Enable does find a pick. Kenny trying to get through. Bottom mid, not going to happen. So there goes the first 60 seconds. I feel like if Accuracy wasn't playing defensive for his streaks, maybe that flag cap would have come through. So I'm going to blame it on him.
Yeah, I think that's the game plan for TK here. Just try to create a buffer up on the map so that Accuracy can earn these streaks, and then just use them in an offensive opportunity. In case you haven't heard us in the past couple minutes, golden flag cap, right? So first flag cap wins, get the streaks, use them to catalyze some offense, and win the game, move on to the next hard point from there.
Oh, Joe, unfortunate timing. Puts Accuracy 50 away. As Pharaoh actually gets himself a double, I'll tell you what, Red Reserve could actually be in a little bit of trouble here. Only 2 players up. The problem, of course, TK don't have as many resources as they would like.
And I think Red Reserve know that Accuracy's on this spree, otherwise they'd be kind of adventuring and exploring out towards the middle of the map.
Yeah, they're just waiting to clean out their base and then maybe go from there. But again, 2 players fall. Where is the TK resources? They're so set in their ways here that basically Pharaoh's gonna have to try and do it himself. And there comes a point where playing for your streaks becomes almost detrimental.
Depends if he really earns them at the end of the day or not.
If he doesn't.
If he earns them, then yeah, okay, great play to make. If he doesn't earn them, well then you just wasted 2 minutes off the clock.
Well, there's a first streak. Is he gonna pop it straight away? Teammate's probably not in the best position. You would have loved to see another gunfight 1. Artillery is 1 away. 0 tries to go for the Kobe.
Ooh, that was close.
Very close indeed. The reach out isn't gonna come through just yet. Again, TK just keeping the pressure on. Accuracy looks to confirm a tier 2 or tier 3 streak. Honestly, 2 down. He thought about it. But as his teammates probably still not in the best position to capitalize on a glide bomb coming down. Don't really have bottom middle presence. You'd love to just completely collapse in on Red Reserve. Enable another opening. Kenny another opening. Now surely the glide bomb comes through. 4 players full. Glide bump, essentially useless.
I was worried he might have killed his teammate going for the flag pickup, and now it's going to be Red Reserve off to the races on the overextension, trying to push on forward. 8-0 wins the initial engagement, but actually as he gets these tier 2 and tier 3 streaks, this map is done and dusted. TK win in overtime. We're going to a map 4.
I may have said first minute. I meant first 3 minutes. If accuracy gets his streaks a little earlier, that game is done. Either way, the woes continue for Red Reserve on Flak Tower CTF. Despite actually clutching up and forcing the OT this time, TK still take it. And it is worth giving them a ton of credit there. They played so passively around the streaks. They get the streaks as well, which is the important thing. It's very easy to criticize a team when they play like that and don't get streaks, but actually gets and uses the glide bomb ultimately to no effect whatsoever, because everyone fell for Red Reserve. Didn't even have to use his tier 2 or tier 3, because at that point, the flag was home sweet home. Now the bigger question. Does this start a reverse sweep?
Oof, that's going to be the question to answer, right? As we look ahead, it's going to be Ardennes Forest Hardpoint coming up next. We already talked about it being TK's Forest. Well, they lost the Forest Search and Destroy earlier in the series, but now they're fighting to stay alive in the series. Not only that, they have the added pressure of looking to solidify their spot in the top 4, looking ahead to playoffs. And just to recap that CTF that just happened, you know, in that first half of overtime, there were a couple opportunities for Red Reserve to get some offense going, and you know they got a couple of flag touches, but nothing off the back of that. I felt like they were maybe thinking a little bit too ahead, right? It's a step-by-step process. You get the kills, you go for the flag, you look to get the cutoffs there. It's like they're looking to go from step A to step D right away, and they left some gaps open.
You feel like the key play really was when Joe was close to streaks, and you see him just kind of lingering around gun side, and then all of a sudden, 2 of his teammates collapse in on the TK flag. He doesn't. He turns around to kind of just make sure he's blocking spawns, so no one from TK spawns behind him. Ultimately, accuracy gets a miracle double kill. Joe's not there to trade. Then he's left to just sprint to the flag. Pharaoh cleans up a double. No streaks for Red Reserve. How the game would have been so drastically different if maybe he had picked them up. But here's a look at how the series has gone so far. Of course, Red win the first 2. TK take the game 3. Now we go back over to Ardennes Forest Hardpoint, where, I mean, if you just look at what's happened recently with Red Reserve, when all of a sudden they start to, well, I say recently, mainly last week, it's the only time it really was shown statistically at least, they lose that game 3, game 4 goes as well, they end up in a game 5 scenario.
I wonder if you guys hear the thunder booming through our mics. It's getting a little bit rainy here in Columbus, but...
You know the crazy thing? It's not actually raining.
It's not raining, it's just thunder?
It's just thunder.
Okay.
Because I was surprised, too, when I went to get changed. Thought it was going to be pouring down, but nope. Not a bit of rain unless it's changed yet.
Regardless, it's snowing here on Ardennes Forest as we look ahead towards this map for a hard point. Different weather happening across the globe. Who would have guessed it?
Honestly, I'm excited to see how the extra trees play in with Hardpoint. Of course, we saw a big effect in the Search and Destroy. You're really not a believer, are you?
Not a believer.
Not a believer of the theory of extra trees.
They've always been here.
I don't know who they is, but apparently they altered our timeline.
Trees have feelings too, Ben.
I'm sorry. All right, well, game 4, Ardennes Forest Hardpoint, about to get underway. As it stands, Red Reserve 2-1 up. Of course, we'll say the storyline again. They've qualified for Stage 2 playoffs. For TK, a win here would be massive in cementing their win as well.
Okay, here we go. Cave Hardpoint to kick things off. It's going to be 3 quick kills coming out of Team Kaliber as they're looking to establish control early on. A strong start for them as they look to jump ahead to an early lead.
All right, well, Kenny ultimately drops. It is still TK in the hill. No, Pharaoh already 325 points. He's going to find a pick on 0. Yes, he will. Double coming up. Yes, gets it. 575 to 700. Enable with another pick as well. A wonderful, wonderful start for TK.
Yep. And it's important that Pharaoh gets involved early on. You heard him a little bit in that CTF, but he's kind of like a bit of the X factor for this lineup. A lot of times you see him with that SMG in his hands playing to the pace of Kenny, but this time with the SDG, looking to establish control early on. And if he could get these streaks, something that could aid TK to maybe snowball the game a little bit in their favor.
And it's worth mentioning, this is a position we see players in time and time again, and they just aren't able to find the final pick. This time, Pharaoh doesn't disappoint. The problem, I think he may get flanked from Heaven Alley. Nope, that isn't going to happen because Kenny actually finds the pick on 0. And Pharaoh in a fantastic position to maybe even earn more. The assist comes through, so he does get himself fully streaked out. This is a perfect start for TK. Who said the forest wasn't theirs? It's back at it again. 59 points, full streaks as well. Red Reserve looking in trouble.
Okay, obviously this is a great start for TK, but I have seen Red Reserve in these types of positions before, and Zero's usually the guy that brings it back. You remember when they went up against FaZe, I believe it was back at Anaheim, he went on something like, a 17, 18 kill spree to bring them back into the game, but that's a bit of a tall task, as now you're starting to see the spawns come in for Red Reserve as they get pushed back towards the bridge. They're gonna maybe think of giving up the remaining scrap time here, but nope, they'll get their first paint on the board, but has the damage already been done with Pharaoh fully streaked out, with TK with the 60+ point lead, the early setup going into bunker. Are they going to build a lead that's insurmountable?
And you kind of feel like if you're TK here, invest a streak, invest in artillery, right? Try and spiral this game really out of control. It's 68-15. You have early control of bunker. If you can just get these next following kills, you put an artillery barrage at the front, Red Reserve have absolutely no chance.
Now it's too late.
Ultimately, though, too late. TK not able to win those gunfights. Red Reserve just fight straight through the front, and this is a good hill now for Red Reserve to just chip away the early TK lead.
It was just a combined 8 spree between the members of Red Reserve, so maybe they're starting to find a rhythm here in this game. Just to reiterate, those streaks in the hands of Pharaoh could really be detrimental to this Red Reserve comeback, but still super early on in this game. Red Reserve are certainly going to bring this back, perhaps even take the lead if they get all of the remaining time here on this bunker hardpoint. But you see TK setting up the break, the pinch coming in through the middle alley. It's going to be a naval fight through the back. Can't win the engagement. Red Reserve, they're holding on strong inside bunker.
And it's worth mentioning, that's a 2v4 there that Red Reserve are fighting, ultimately not able to win it. Or actually, the last man. Final 7 seconds, probably going to end up with just a couple points going over to TK, but a wonderful comeback from Red Reserve on that bunker hill. Glide bomb's going to be used by Pharaoh. A double, that's going to clean up Cabin Alley, but ultimately, no, look at the Red Reserve spawn. I don't think that's going to have the required effect or desired effect either. However, the flank from Kenny might. He's finding one. Hardpoint still neutral.
Okay, that's a great glide bomb for many reasons. One, they're looking to relieve cabin pressure, and they do just that. I was a little worried about Kenny as he pushed through back ice, influencing the spawns, towards the back ridge, because that's where you want Red Reserve spawning. Fortunately, he dies before anybody from Red Reserve spawns on up, so, no harm, no foul there. In the meantime, Pharaoh's continuing to keep slaying in this game. 16-9, still 2 streaks available to play with. Kenny's also going positive, and we've seen the type of damage he does on this map in particular.
Great at having none of the Kenny flank. Actually, of course, still over towards Cabin Wall. Is he going to find a pick? He will. However, rated, he's not going to miss that. So, 10 seconds left of East Road. We're about to go over towards our second rotation of hills. 2K with a very small lead, 77-65, and realistically, of course, since that great start, they haven't really found that many points, mainly due to a good hold on bunker East Road. We know it's always going to be a 50-50 type of hill and a lot of contention, with the artillery barrage is actually going to be used straight off the bat. That's going to stop Red Reserve resources getting to the hill scot-free. Joe juggles almost successfully, so TK will hold the hill now.
Yeah, the important thing for TK is getting hill time off the back of the artillery barrage. And speaking of Zero now, he's got a glide bomb looking for some streaks of his own, and he's going to waste no time calling it in here. Calls in the glide bomb, knows that enables right around the corner, as well as Kenny. Glide bomb won't find anything, but he's staying alive for the time being. He should go over towards the new hard point, get the capture time, try to get fully streaked out. But TK now know that's available. Maybe Pharaoh might want to use the fire pipe, but Kenny could get con transition here. Zero has to stay alive. You absolutely need these streaks if you're Red Reserve. He gets cut down just short of earning them. In the meantime, it will be Red Reserve taking the lead off the back of the scrap time.
And more importantly, that death in the bigger picture loses complete control of ruins as well. So scrap time at Cave goes to Red Reserve. Now they're left to try and fight straight back. Kenny's going to deny them with a double, looking for potentially even a triple if he can reload in time. Joe challenges with the pistol. Not gonna happen now. Pharaoh, of course, still 1 streak available, the fighter pilot. You can see it used very commonly on ruins if things kind of spiral out of control. Of course, there's still a very, very close game, Rev.
Yep, actually controlling over towards top flat. Looking to maintain control of this position as teammates start to fall around him. He's feeling the pressure. Red Reserve, they're swarming in from all directions. It's up to Enable over towards mid-U. He's able to find 2 as his teammates trying to look to reinforce off respawn. Here comes the fire pipe from Pharaoh, looking to clear out the hard point. How many kills does he get? 1?
Oh, just the 1? Oh,
2 on to 0, while Kenny finds the 3rd. So it looks like it should be a clean, clear 4-team Kaliber. As I say that, no, they fall. They don't get anything off the back of that.
Or not. Scraps has other ideas. It is important to note, though, TK still with a favorable spawn for bunker, so maybe not the end of the world as a very messy and sporadic gunfight occurs through the smoke grenade. Final 10 seconds. Zero looking to just clean up TK and grab that scrap time. Of course, Red do have the lead here. 117. It'll be about 120 to 105. But again, to reiterate, TK Joe with an AR. Wow. Beaming at absolutely beaming. 2 players full, 3 players full. Kenny, last alive, TK still was spawn.
And keep in mind, last time we were around at this bunker hardpoint, it was TK winning the rotation with the early setup, but Red Reserve were able to fight right through the front. It looks like something similar might happen here. They fight through the front, they take control of the hardpoint, but they can't get through the back. In the meantime, take a look at number 6, Kenny flanking from behind. He should get caught out here by Scraps, so Red Reserve still putting on pressure through the front of the bunker hardpoint.
And they've done it again, Revan. 2 players now spawning out from TK. More kills will force spawn out. That's 3. Last man alive at the back. And honestly, Joe should be in a great position to just clean this up if nothing else. It's Zero that ultimately finds the pick on accuracy, and now all of a sudden Red Reserve, they get broken straight to the front. They maybe just spent a little too long trying to find that pick at the end. It gave TK a lot of time to get over towards bunker and break straight through the front. About 10 seconds left. Again, we're looking at being down near close to a tied game here, Rev.
Kind of like a weird bunker hardpoint for both these teams, but regardless, it's only now an 11-point game as we look ahead towards the East Road hardpoint. The #1 goal for both these teams is maintain cabin control. Just having that extra angle into the hardpoint from the cabin wall could mean a world of difference between controlling the hardpoint or denying time to the other team. Right now, it's accuracy, controlling cave, and able to try to put on pressure. Red Reserve have control, and they have more area to work with towards the backside of the hardpoint, but it's TK with control of cabin.
And the problem that TK had was Enable was just playing that a little passively because he was so close to streaks, and
Still
Red
is.
Reserve got about 15 seconds uncontested. And all Enable needs to do here is juggle the hill. Wait for someone from Red to touch it, find the pit, get the 100 points. Unfortunately, though, Scrap's going to win the gunfight. Enable just goes flying straight through. There's the Kaliber. Can he find more? Not going to happen. 20 seconds left. Red Reserve actually getting a good amount of time here on East Road. This is surprising.
Considering how this game started off, it's very surprising to see Red Reserve now with around that 30-point lead. And, you know, if you're Enable, at least you have a glide bomb to work with, and he's going to waste no time calling it in with 10 seconds remaining. I mean, sure, it's going to help you win the rotation over towards Cave, but I got to think there's a better use for the glide bomb there.
Well, it leaves accuracy on an island. Nope, Bell spawn comes in for Enable. He spawned so far away from the fight. 2 of his teammates have spawned actually after him, get the bunker spawn, but actually doing a good job of just trying to stay alive. Zero finds the angle, though, shuts him down. Woo! Wow.
Yeah, that just happened. And also keep in mind, inside the hard point, it was Scraps juggling with Enable. He just killed him. So he's got extra points towards those score streaks. You see 400 out of 700 for that glide bomb. Now Rated starting to heat up. Uh-oh, that looks like Red
Zero's
Reserve.
on a
They're trying to
mission.
find a rhythm here.
He's on a mission, not going to win that gunfight, though. Again, Scraps looking to try and make the play. TK break through. This is a massive 25 seconds, which TK need here. As you look at that score, 183 to 140 now. It's going to be about 158 by the time it rotates over towards Cave. Or sorry, by the time it rotates over towards Ruins. However, Red Reserve are ready and waiting for the TK push.
Joe holding up inside Ruins. One more player to get past, turn into the corner. They should be able to find Kenny. And now their attention over towards the Bell side, where TK, they're going to run into Scraps. At least he gets the information that TK are spawning out there. This would be a massive hold for Red Reserve. A chance for them to build a very comfortable lead in this game.
Zero gets tagged up there, but Enable just blindly runs straight through. Maybe a lack of communication there on where that stun grenade actually did hit. Scraps ultimately drops, Rated now on the hill. Red Reserve approaching the 200-point mark. Nade's thrown, Nade connects, Nade kills. As ultimately TK breaking through the middle. 3 players go down. Joe left, last man up. He's trying to do everything he can before ultimately falling. TK retake control of Ruins. And again, this is almost must-win time, as well as considering you cannot lose control of the spawns. And already, look at the rotation from Joe. With about 25 seconds, he spawned, and he's already trying to get behind enemy lines. If TK lose these gunfights, they are going to be in a world of pain. Number 7, Pharaoh, has to react. He has to turn around and go for this rotation.
This is going to be a key gunfight for this upcoming hardpoint. Yeah, Pharaoh exactly knows what's going on, but he's just not ready for the engagement. Now that's going to open up the lane for Red Reserve to reinforce over towards the back bunker side of the map. They're making the kills happen. They're going to win the rotation for the first time over towards this bunker hardpoint, at least be the first players inside. Well, never mind.
What a key fight that is from Kenny. He pushes Fire Rally and manages to get this shot unrated from behind, and TK are given another lifeline as TK's Kenny now looking to try and get some more streaks, but Rated read it like a book, and TK could be in some issues here. Hardpoint contested.
This bunker hardpoint has been weird all game long. The first 2, it's been TK winning the rotations. This time around, Red Reserve the opportunity to do so, but still, it seems like both teams overall, they've been kind of splitting time 50-50 as inside the hardpoint, Zero trying to trade the kill, but the kill's coming in for TK. They got to get past Pharaoh. Rated slowly but surely, preeming around the corner. No Sparrow's inside, and he wins the engagement on a 2-spree before he gets cut down there by Axie's grenade. As both teams, it's absolute pandemonium inside this hardpoint.
And bear in mind how many contest time actually came through there. The overall game clock down to just over 60 seconds, heading into an East Road hill. Could it happen again? Game tied 2 of 2, 2 of 2. Hardpoint contested, accuracy looking to try and peek and get the gunfight, gets it. TK back with a lead, but by gosh, is it a small one. 3 points, East Road neutral, less than 60 seconds game time on the clock.
I'm getting flashbacks to Anaheim, Red Reserve versus Rise Nation. They're certainly no strangers to this type of situation, but it's TK surging on forward. Kenny putting pressure on the spawns, forces a split spawn from Red Reserve. You see them spawning out over towards the bunker side of the map, and you see TK yet to react. Now number 7, that's going to be for a turnaround. Expecting a push from the field side of the map, but nades being tossed on in. As it stands, it's TK with a 7-point lead.
And if you're TK, you don't even need to contest the hill when it's completely neutral. You just have to try and slay out, and that's what Enable's going to try and do. Finds one. Red Reserve, they now retake control of the game. A 1-point lead. Hill completely neutral. 23 seconds left. And Note rated leaves the hill to play for cabin control just in case a new rotation comes through, which looking at it, it very well may.
They have to hold on to this early position. This could be what decides this game. Meanwhile, Zero, he's setting up for a bit of a pinch. Speaking of Zero, 38 and 30, he's coming alive towards the late game. Rated falls. The kills go in favor of Team Kaliber. They're looking like they might win the rotation. Joe has to play his life, but he's feeling the pressure through the cabin wall. He falls. TK now with a great spot to take the victory.
And there's absolutely no streaks for Red Reserve to use. They need to do it the old-fashioned way, but that may not be good enough. TK, 4 players full. Mount the spawn flip over towards bunker, but they have to go. They have to be quick. 232 to 220. Another wave of kills for TK will put this to bed and force a game 5. Here comes the push. Has Red Reserve learned? Hardpoint, it is going to be contested. 7 seconds left, but the gunfight still need to be won. Joe with a miracle 1. Farrell with a contest. Joe's going to find a double out of nowhere. Hardpoint still contested. Enable with a double. Rated trades it out, but TK still have control. 2 more points is all TK need. With 20 seconds left on the hill, keep your eye, of course, on the overall game time. The kills come through. TK, they complete a potential reverse sweep. They take this to a game 5 search and destroy.
Let's get it, Benson. It would take myself, you, and Cassie if we didn't go to a game 5, and now reverse sweep fashion. It all started with that overtime CTF. TK carried the momentum through here. They had a fantastic start to this hard point. They let it slip away towards the mid to late game, but they come alive and they clutch up exactly when they need to. And yes, game 5, St. Marie Dumont search and destroy.
On a day like today, this was always going to be the way. You're finally back. The duo reunited. A Red Reserve game with a Flak Tower CTF. It really was only going to end this way. A game 5 search and destroy. TK looking to cement their spot at the Stage 2 playoffs. It's game 5 time to close out the end of the day. Red Reserve were 2-0 up before their good old friend Flak Tower CTF came into the rotation. Since then, TK able to retake a very, very tough Ardennes Forest hardpoint. And now we go to a game 5, St. Marie du Mont, search and destroy. Revan, I know you have some interesting stats, though. Talk to me a little bit about this map and what to expect.
All right, so Red Reserve since Anaheim, they are undefeated on this map in game mode.
Okay.
TK have only played it once, and the one time they played it, they lost it. So more experience and better overall record for Red Reserve, their favorite coming to this final matchup.
Oh, of course, it was the one map that I know if you watch Hot Mic or the Codcast, Scraps kind of said, oh, that would have been our game 5 at finals. Well, they're even more furious to, of course, what happened at the last major event. This is a map that they absolutely love. To your point, feel very comfortable in. Now, first round, they are able to get bombed down and make it a 2v2. Wake is going to spin around. However, is timing going to be a factor? Scraps isn't checking. Now, Enable gives away his position. They get all the information in the world, but all right, if you're shooting like that, Enable, it doesn't even matter.
Yeah, we were really worried once he gave up his spot. If he just pre-aimed around the corner, he would have had the free kill on the Raider regardless. But he wins the tougher gunfight at the end of the day, as it's a strong round 1 from T Kaliber. It's a good approach to take the retake of that B bomb site. They knew nobody was posted up over near ammo, so they just converge in from both angles. And it helps when you win both your 1v1s.
Definitely does, especially like that. That's a very nice shot there from Enable after a little bit of a misplay at the beginning, but makes up for it. TK win the first round. Now it's their turn on the attack. Wouldn't mind an A showing early on, but it's going to be a B push to start at least. We'll see if maybe things change after the first nades come through. Love that from Red Reserve, by the way. Actually smoking off the choke. It's going to really slow down TK. You don't want to blindly push through a smoke because you're not really sure where to check. You're going to get that information second. So, all of a sudden, the push has been halted. TK go for a mid push. However, they get first blood.
Down through mid. Scraps is here for the trade, though. He's going to be feeling the pressure. Should know that there are more TK players around. It's going to be Kenny there for the trade. In the meantime, Rated, he's got position back over towards top red. As trades back and forth between both these squads. Rated can't find the second kill, as now it's all down to 0. A 1v2 situation for him. He gets caught out of position, tagged up, but at least he has his life. Where is he going to read? Where is he going to anticipate this bomb going towards? Right now, we see TK favoring over towards that A bomb site, while Zero's going to check B.
And you feel like that's unfortunate because it looked as if at first Zero was going to head over towards the A site. Probably would have got great
Enable's going to be super close to streaks.
It'd be great if he was able to get that final pick. But of course, in these situations, just kill the guy. You don't necessarily want actually just pepper him up. Yes, if you're in a 4v1 or maybe even a 3v1, you can consider it. But actually finds the pick. TK 2-0 up. Revan, I don't think TK took nicely to your stats.
Every time I seem to point out stats, they always seem to work against me. But still, that's what the stats show. Relevant to bring them up, as first 2 rounds played means 2 rounds won here for Team Kalibers. They're looking to carry the momentum from these previous maps into this final one, whereas Red Reserve, they seem to be falling a little flat. They found themselves down early on in that hardpoint, were able to bring it back, but lost in the closing seconds. Same story there, and the CTF before that. So it's been close losses here for Red Reserve, and it's something that's very tough to bounce back from. Also, keep an eye on Enable here. Even though he's only got 3 kills, he's got 640 points.
And he would have loved to have got a stun hit marker there. Just play for an assist, potentially with the nades. Maybe he throws his first or even second just to try and get a kill. But as it stands, nothing over towards B. That should be the intel they need, as well as the quite obvious smoke grenade at the A site that more than likely Red have pushed over towards here. Kenny with a hit marker with the nade. He will spot the first player. Enable trying to time a nade as well, but you have to feel like, well, in fact, the assist comes through, so...
Do you use it?
I would just use it straight off the bat. You're in a... make it a 3-0 game, yeah. No one from Red is going to have Mountain on. You're going to get all the information in the world. Kenny should be able to at least find one. You'd love to wait just
a double. That's just bad communication positioning from Red Reserve.
And to be fair, you feel like Kenny has good trigger control there, because he could have maybe found a kill, but instead you want the glide bomb to get a kill, so you get extra points towards further streak progression, which on St. Marie is massive. And as you can see just how close Enable actually is, with Rated all by himself. When Enable finds this pick, he's laughing.
Yeah, Rated right now, he's just looking for a way out of this situation, out of this map. The odds are stacked against him. 20 seconds remaining. Bomb super far away from him. No sort of position to work with to try to get that bomb back under his control. So he's just going to stay alive. Let the time bleed out. Don't feed any extra score to the opposing team. Meanwhile, Enable yet to get that tier 2 and tier 3 streak, so there's still the chance for Red Reserve to stop him before he earns those.
And all Rated is doing is waiting to see if maybe Enable gets a little excited. He wants to try and blindly push through, see if he can...
We all know how Enable plays. We know that's not happening.
You never know. I've seen Enable make some interesting decisions where he maybe lose control of time. Shout out to Search and Destroy Sovereign, Game 5, MLG Anaheim. But still.
Good memory.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I casted that game. It was epic, for lack of a better word. But Unable this time. Still looking to find the pick. And if you're red, you really have to respect the B push. Just so you don't get naded. You do not want to feed Enable a free kill. But the problem is, if you do that, you give him a free plant, because you know he's going to take the bomb.
Yeah, TK, they pretty much carpet bombed the bomb site. They know nobody's set up here. And now Enable plants the bomb. Artillery barrage, fighter play, both win conditions now later in this round. And there's first blood going in favor of Actually. Things falling apart very quickly here for Red Reserve. Make it 2 kills for Actually. Joe, though, coming around the flank, picks up the STG. Maybe a chance for him to find the opening. Nope, he's going to challenge both players. He falls all down to 0. And there's 0 chance of this happening.
And you would have loved to see Zero and Joe challenge at the same time. At least try and give yourself something. Make it favorable. Zero instead. 1 and 3, not feeling it. Backs away. Doesn't want to feed further points over towards the TK squad. But this is a 4-0 start.
I'm getting scared, Ben.
It's getting pretty loud.
I'm afraid of Thunder.
Don't worry, I'm here for you.
Hold me late into the night. As all 4 rounds that we've played have been won by Team Kaliber. Enable yet to die in this game. Accuracy, I believe, also on a 4 spree. He's yet to die in this game.
It's
been all TK all game.
Enable gets a lot of flack for his Search and Destroy performances. And, well, when TK need him the most, he is stepping up here for a potential reverse sweep against the #1 team in the division, Red Reserve. Still with the Tier 2, Tier 3 streak. Simply just don't mess this up. And this should be a Game 5 victory for TK.
And it would be a huge game at that as we look ahead towards playoffs and as they try to secure their top 4 spot, plus just general confidence, right? This is the team on top of the division, trying to break on into the B bomb site, but Kenny opens things up first blood with his grenade. Enable is here, follow up the kill on to 0. Can he get the second one on the Scraps? No, he cannot, but it's down to a 1v1, Joe versus Pharaoh.
Pharaoh there with the trades, what you want to see. However, it's Joe. He prides himself in his Search and Destroy, and that is, of course, his first kill in the round. No streaks used from TK, really not enough time, if nothing else. And now the question for you, Revan, is we haven't seen TK push the A site. We saw Red Reserve do it once. Is it maybe something that you should consider now with TK going on the attack?
Is it time? Maybe. It depends on how they want to approach this, right? Obviously, both bomb sites are wide open, so when we talk about late round win conditions, you know, both are fine for that. I say, why not? Go over towards A.
Let's not forget, Raiden was a madman. The Ardennes Forest Search and Destroy. He defused in an artillery barrage. He really didn't care too much about it, so I'm sure if you're TK, you're going to have flashbacks if that artillery barrage gets a hit marker. You're going to be very, very worried. But it seems like, no, it's going to be another B push. This time, Rated does get first blood onto Accuracy. Pharaoh has made his way into the site, as has Kenny. So despite the numbers advantage, control still in TK's favor. Scraps, it's so funny because we often say, oh, you know, retaking on St. Marie at B is just horrible with a sniper rifle. Yet Scraps simply makes it look easy. The amount of times he does it, with how consistent he is, it's wonderful. And obviously now Red Reserve know, well, you know, Enable's going to be sat at the back of the map. He's going to be waiting to call in a streak. Enable gets bad timing, but so do the Red Reserve players. There's 2 there. Joe drops.
0 has to challenge this. You know it's Enabled. You know he's got streaks. You have to fight this. You can't afford Enable to stay alive in the back. Meanwhile, Scraps is looking for an opening into the bomb site. Nate to open things up here. Double Nate to the bomb site. They do find the kill on the Pharaoh. So man advantage in favor of Red Reserve. The kill made onto Kenny, but he could use the streak. He could use the streak on the bomb right now and win the game, win the round.
Well, there it is.
That's what's going to happen.
So bizarre.
It's all because 0 decides not to re-challenge Enable in the back.
So bizarre. You see Enable there. Just respecting the fact that earlier on in the day, of course, Rated did defuse through an artillery barrage, but there was no time. And you have to think a bizarre decision there. Yes, you know, he is pre-aiming you, but that is TK's ultimate win condition.
Not only is he playing towards back ammo, he also has streaks to use. Like, that's like double win condition there. Like, you absolutely have to re-challenge that engagement. And you know, it hurts as well to see that, like, they were able to make the retake happen inside the bomb site, but because you don't get that one crucial kill to Enable, you lose the round, and now TK, you have so many rounds to play with, you feel like this is their Game 5.
Stats can go out the window for this one. TK, they know they need this Game 5 win. Will they get it? First blood for Kenny. Looking for more. It's Scraps that fell. Rated falls as well. Red Reserve collapsing in the Game 5 as Pharaoh hungry to try and put this one to an end. Not going to end just yet. But bear in mind,
6 of 7 first bloods for TK in this game.
that's absurd. That's a lot. And Enable still with an artillery barrage to use here. 10 and 2. He's going to be loving that for his search and destroy KD.
Yeah, who would have thought? Enable the hard carry here in Game 5 against Red Reserve.
Oh, sorry, he still has a fighter
pilot.
Yeah.
But Red Reserve bring it back down to 2v2. Of course, that fighter pilot's still in play. Enable playing towards the back of the map. And he's just going to wait. As time starts to tick down, he's going to pick one bomb site. Most likely the B1, as Accuracy has an eye on the crossover towards A. He's going to pick a bomb site, call in the fighter pilot, and just shoot it.
Just call it now. Yeah, that's all you have to do. Where did he decide to put it, though? Oh, he's firing it over towards B. Admittedly, not the greatest angle you've ever seen, but he's trying to cover both A and B rather than isolating one. And is that ultimately going to cost him? Enable, you've hard carried up until now. It's a 1v2 to close this out at 6-1. Yes, you have rounds to play with, but no further utility. This is a big round win for Red Reserve. They're able to get it. Enable now with 20 challenges. Hit some nice initial shots, but nothing further.
The chance was there. I mean, had he maybe melted Zero behind the bomb, you think maybe he wins the engagement against Joe after that.
You feel like if you're Enable in that situation, your teammate's been top red, who's been watching simultaneously the cross to A. With that amount of time, you can almost assume before your teammates look to B, it's going to be a B push. You could have maybe just isolated that fighter pilot towards B, because if you hit nothing, then you can just say to your teammates top red, turn around, look at the A cross. That's the only place they can go. Rather than playing, yes, kind of mid-street, you can play A and B. That could have been a much easier round win for TK.
Yep, you're not wrong there, Ben. As now Zero's going to bring out the sniper rifle. You saw Scraps with it earlier on in this game. TK, you still have rounds to play, so you could try something dangerous like this, but Kenny gets punished. Aggression down the middle of the map. Meanwhile, it's Scraps locking down bottom red. Maybe it's going to be Pharaoh to jump over towards top red as Zero repositions.
And very much like the Ardennes Forest game. It's good when you have rounds to play with, but you can't give away too much because streaks are on the table for Zero. He's not going to spot the head on the sandbags. Pharaoh landed a couple of shots.
If Zero gets streaked out, are they back in this?
100% they are, but Scraps falls. Zero missed his shot. Is he going to reach out? Looks like it rated, of course, mid-map. Joe drops as well. Well, our storyline here, maybe making a comeback, could be over. Rated needs to be careful. Of course, he's very loud. Did TK hear him? I don't think they did. Oh, it's disastrous. It's terrible. Red Reserve still in it. Force a 2v2 as Rated finds the pick. The nade's going to come through, surely.
They'd had to come through a lot earlier. Actually, he's definitely regenerated health by now. And plus, Rated also has to be worried about Pharaoh, who's slowly but surely pinching in on his position. With 20 seconds remaining, Radiant's going to get flanked out. Pharaoh's going to find the easiest kill of his life right here. He's just going to shoot him in his back.
Wonderful. Wonderful stuff from TK. Zero, last one up. Oh, he's tagged with the nade. They know where he is. And nothing but a sniper rifle. If there was ever a time to do it, it's right here. Hits the first. Last player on bomb. Is he going to get it? The drop shot come through. The sneaky angle from TK. And TK put the series to bed with a reverse sweep of the #1 team here in Division A, Red Reserve.
Enable going off here in the Game 5, fully streaked out, propels Team Kaliber to this victory, and that's certainly going to help them as we look ahead towards playoffs. Once again, the top 4 from Division A advance there. TK looking to be one of those 4.
And one unbelievably intelligent challenge that was from Accuracy, because the #1 place Zero is expecting him to be is behind the bomb. He's expecting to have to hit a miracle headshot because Accuracy has no reason at all to move. Him going for the drop, a little roll over towards that right-hand side, gets the angle. A wonderful way to close out that map, especially considering Zero clutches that 1v2, gets the defuse. That streaks, they're back in that game.
Yeah, absolutely. Another game-changing moment for me was when Enable wins it with the artillery barrage and Zero decides not to re-challenge Enable in the back. Once again, sure, Enable's there and preemed, but that's the win condition in the round. You know, earlier in the game, he called in the glide bomb, and then you saw through the spectator view that he was able to earn the remaining streaks. Like, you know that he has, you know, the fighter pilot, the artillery barrage. You have to re-challenge in that situation. He doesn't. That round winds up going to TK, which winds up being like a 1v something clutch.
Yeah, wonderful, wonderful stuff from Team Kaliber. We said a win here does their playoff contention just wonders, and that's exactly what they get. Again, it seems that Flak Tower CTF, I hate to harp on about it, but that's been the thorn in Red Reserve's side, and we see it again here for Team Kaliber. A massive, massive win. I'm sure the players are over the moon, if you will. But again, Enable, the hard carry in a Game 5 search and destroy. I don't think many people would have expected that, but shout out to him. A wonderful performance. For now, that we can send it to the PlayStation Instant Reaction. It's Jess with TK's Kenny.
Thanks, Ben. What was the key to the reverse sweep victory?
Definitely our composure.
Great. What are you taking away from this series?
We just beat the best team in the division so far, so like I think we just gotta
honestly, we played really bad first map. We played a map we never played before. And I think it's just our vetoes that series that made us go game 5.
Well, how does it feel? I know earlier you were saying that you wanted your revenge. How does it feel to have beat the best or the #1 team in the rankings and get your revenge?
Right. We've been playing them the whole year, so it's been fun. It's been back and forward. They beat us last time, game 5, like 6-4. So like it feels good to beat the best team in the division.
Great. Well, thank you so much for the interview. This has been your PlayStation Instant Reaction. Back on over to the casters.
Thank you very much, Jess. From Kenny, very much like his gameplay. To the point. A wonderful performance again from him and the rest of the TK squad. A huge, huge win, Rebel.
Yeah, it's also got to be a great boost to their confidence as well as we look ahead towards some of the major events remaining of the year. They should be a lock-in now for the Stage 2 Class, but also the Call of Duty Championships. TK looking like a contender once again.
Yeah, it's been weird because obviously they started off the year so well, unbelievably well. Then they had a little bit of up and down. Of course, at the last event, me and you on Friday looked at each other and was like, oh, TK, the real
3-0'd rise.
They're back. Yeah, they were 3-0ing, of course, the event winner ultimately there. Yes, it was pool play, but still looking really, really good. And now all of a sudden they get a comfortable, I say comfortable, they get a reverse sweep win here, a comfortable game 5 win, if nothing else, against Red Reserve. You're seeing more and more maybe that consistency come back with TK, which was kind of an issue kind of mid-season for the squad.
Yeah, I felt like they kind of thought, after Anaheim, they had some small things that they needed to iron out. But anytime you talk to these guys, it's not like they get demoralized or deflated after a loss. I mean, the mood's always calm and collected. I mean, these guys are jokers at the end of the day. They get along really well outside of Call of Duty, so it's really easy for them to go back and fix some of the small mistakes. I know they spend a lot of time watching VADA and always looking to get better, and it's just great to see, the small things that they do. You see the improvements, and you see the results coming off the back of their practice.
Obviously, at the end of the day, we love to talk about Astro Gaming MVP speculation. One big name for TK comes to mind, and of course, it is accuracy.
Yep.
A wonderful day from him. Of course, if you're just tuning in, you may have forgotten or even missed.
Ben, I don't know if you were watching.
I was not watching this.
Watch this kill right here.
Okay.
He has no business winning that fight against Chino.
I feel like if you're Chino, you don't expect accuracy to disrespect him so much by even challenging, but what a 1v3 that was. And then, of course, he continued a great performance throughout the series with Red Reserve, and ultimately they complete the reverse sweep. A fantastic day to be a Team Kaliber fan.
Yeah, ice in his veins for good reason. This was a huge day for Team Kaliber. I said coming into this one, they had the doubleheader. They 3-0 Team Envious, and then you just saw it here. The reverse sweep against Red Reserve has to do wonders for their confidence, and all stemmed off the back of that overtime victory on that Flak Tower CTF. There are moments, like we were saying, for Red Reserve in that first half of overtime, but unable to capitalize on it. And then TK, the golden flag cap, to win them that CTF, propels them to win the next 2.
It is worth mentioning at this point now that this is becoming more and more common with Red Reserve. Is it a time, if you're a Red Reserve fan, to maybe be a little concerned?
Yeah, absolutely. I think the biggest thing for them is they're obviously really good at London Docks CTF. Maybe you start to practice Ardennes Forest CTF a little bit. If you could add that under your belt and just increase your map depth, then you don't have to worry about Flak Tower CTF being like the bane of your existence. I mean, they're still like solid on Flak Tower CTF. It just seems like time and time again, like it leads to reverse sweeps or them having the series in their grips and then letting it slip through their fingers.
They could have had so many 3-0s. So many 3-0s if it wasn't for just simply one flag. But I want to take a look at the rest of the schedule. Now, it's important to note, of course, we are not live tomorrow, July 4th, an American
Day.
It is Merc Day. So this is Thursday's schedule. Of course, we will have Friday, our final day of Division A. We'll have the concluding 4 games, which, speaking of league ups earlier on, I was told could be very interesting. Could have some deciding games on Friday. But here's a look at the schedule. Red kick things off against Team Envious. Spicy in action versus Epsilon. TK go toe-to-toe with EG midday. Then Epsilon, their second game of the day against Team Envious. FaithClan versus Echo Fox to close. You feel like Division A is going to be very, very spicy as we have just 2 final days. That is all that is left for some teams. 2 games, for some teams 3 games to decide their fate to compete at the Stage 2 Call of Duty World League playoffs, presented, of course, by PlayStation 4. It was all smiles from Red Reserve earlier on in the day before the reverse sweep from TK very much puts them in a fantastic spot to secure their spot. Of course, we will be back on Thursday to conclude the week.